about boys, right? Just to go on and on and on and on and on. Now, some people say, forget all that history. You don't need it. Okay? That's what some people say. Now, they did a study. There was a playground of children playing in this playground. And a guy who was 20 years old, he walked up to the gate of the playground. See the children playing. Everything going as normal. This is like afternoon recess. Okay. So the guy, he was 20 something. He had 20 years ago, he played in that same playground. These are first, second, third graders. Okay. So the guy comes up and he starts to spray the playground with bullets for 7 whole minutes. Okay. So he killed a number of children. I think it was like 50 wounded, 25 had been deceased. So the people come out, they clean up the area, right? They wash it all down and they repaint it by the next day. Okay? By the next day. So the scene looks like nothing happened. But what they found is the children, after they started playing games and reenacting what they had saw. So the guy's name, his name was Purdy. Last name was Purdy. So they call it the Purdy game. So the kids would reenact. One of the kids would play like Purdy, and they would go like this, waving the gun, and all the kids would start falling out on the ground as if they were being shot. So as you further went on, whenever your ambulance came by, right, when an ambulance drove by, all of the kids would start, the same kids that saw, they witnessed what happened. Those kids would start looking around, they would start running. Okay? Whenever they would play, they would set up a lookout. Now, these are first, second, and third graders, right? They would set up a lookout to say, hey, if somebody comes up, let us know. Right? So there are many, many other things that they would do, that they found in this study. But what they came away with is that when a people go through trauma, the memories are frozen. And there are mental heuristics that spark those memories. Okay? So now, what does that have to do with us? We experience something, and then because we experience it, we pass it on to our children. So I find myself, this is today, okay? By Allah's mercy, I'm a 4th generation Muslim. By Allah's mercy, 4th generation in America. My grandmother, maybe 5th generation. Great-grandmother, she was involved in the Nation of Islam. On my father's side, on my mother's side, my grandfather, he was a minister in the Nation of Islam on the West Coast. Okay, but 4th generation Muslim, brought up in this community, taught the Quran, nurtured. Many of you have nurtured me, right, and taught me and mentored me. I have many mothers and fathers in this community, right. But my father and mother, they invested a lot into my education and into a Quranic education. So today, Friday, right, I'm downtown, and I'm sitting in a skyscraper, okay, high up in the skyscraper. This is like a 60 or maybe 60 floor skyscraper. And I'm in an executive room. And I look around the room, I see Caucasian people, Indian people. Everybody's at least 15 years older than I am, right? And then I'm the only African American in the room. And they're talking about flying over the world, talking about their plans of, where they're going to go next in Houston and rebuild this area, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just thinking like, wow, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm a child from Harlem Clark. I went to Madison High School. I went to Ryan Middle School in 3rd Ward, right? Attended the Shape Center. I'm like, wow, this is only by the mercy of Allah that I'm here, right? So then, an inferiority feeling kind of set in. I'm like, whoa, what is that? I thought I was the big, bad black man, right? I'm the cream of the earth, and black man is God, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But I still had this feeling, like the higher I go, each time I get higher and higher, I have these feelings and I have to work them out, right? So it made me start to do research on where we come from to better understand why I'm having these feelings. And it is because through generational and environmental programming, we have inferiority complex, we have psychological issues, we have marital issues, issues with being men, issues with being women, issues with being parents, issues with being mothers, fathers, daughters, sons. We have all these issues that they go unnoticed or undealt with because we just cover them up with religious practice. So we become ultra religious, right? So we have all of these things laying down in the closet somewhere, right? And just toss them in there, and I put on my garb, right? I learn how to recite the Quran, I learn how to pray, and now they should be gone. No, that's not how it works, right? Because the mind is very complex. So Allah says in the Quran. Now we're talking about the night of power. This is the night in which the Quran was revealed, okay? And through that revelation, it inspired or motivated. It was the catalyst of many events after, okay? So Allah says in the Quran, I missed a while. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. It says, and we constantly reveal from the Quran. So this means you have the Quran, right? You have the Quran with you. You have the Quran there. You have the Quran on your phone, right? As you are reading it, each Ramadan, right? As you're reading it, Allah says that we constantly reveal to you from the Quran something that will heal you and help you recuperate. Now, the way that Quranic Arabic works is Allah could tell you exactly what it is. He could say, this Quran is giving you a healing for this ailment or for that ailment, right? For that inferiority complex. He could have mentioned it. But the Quran leaves the space for you to think about what your own issues are. So this verse says, hey, you do introspection. You need to dig deep within yourself and find out what your issues are. And you need to deal with them. Now, there's two types of people relative to what I'm talking about, right? There's a thinker and then there's a drifter. A drifter is someone who lets influences and things outside of their own mind control them. Meaning, I wear J's, I wear Air Forces, I wear Adidas, I wear Nike, etc. I haven't thought about why I wear it. It's just that things on the outside or influences are controlling my actions. But they're not because of my own thinking or my own opinion, right? I've been conditioned that whenever I hear a car or I see a car in the hood, right? It's like trunk rattling, right? I feel some sense of, achievement, right? Not saying that things are bad, but I'm saying that some of these things and things that we've adopted are because of circumstances outside of our own minds. Okay? So as African American people, when we were conditioned, there's a scene in 12 Years of a Slave where the brother, he was like hanging, and he's like hanging to where he can like barely put his toe down. I know you saw that, right? And then they show the clip for maybe about 5 minutes, and you see people playing. Like he's hanging, right? He's like barely making it. But people are playing and skipping and like jumping rope, and he's just hanging there, right? But if somebody was to go let them down, what would happen? They'll be punished severely, right? So we went through this entire conditioning where we become a passive people. We've just become passive. So that means we accept things from the environment or generational things that have been passed down. We accept these things to come in without taking any proactive measures to get rid of them. So one of the ways that the devil controls you is by passive laziness or just being passive. Okay? Because he puts things in the environment. You see what's in the environment. Turn on the TV, right? Turn on, type in something on Google, right? Every time you type in something on Google, there's something else that has nothing to do with what you were typing, right? It's going to pop up, right? On YouTube. You can't even watch Quranic recitation on YouTube without an ad popping up, right? I'm like, Mishari, Rashid, Al-Afasi, Surah Maryam, right? And then I see a commercial advertising beach or like sunscreen, right? Now you know what's on a sunscreen commercial, right? So these things are in the environment. So if you're a passive people and you've been conditioned to be passive, then you're going to be the first of the people to be controlled by whoever's controlling the airwaves. So now, what do we have to do? Allah says in the Quran that He does not change the condition of people, right? Until they change what is in themselves. So that's the first step. But some of us are not proactive enough to just change what is in themselves, right? So I've read vocabulary books. Like there's a book called Merriam-Webster, and it's like a vocabulary builder. Because growing up where I grew up in Harlem Clark, we had a limited vocabulary. I just said, know what I'm talking about? Know what I'm saying? Like, I spoke out of the side of my mouth, right? But getting inside of these different environments, these people are just like, boom, 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 right? So you have to proactively take the steps for your own refinement. Now, this is a miracle that we're in this masjid. Because we come from, like we said, 100 to 250 years ago, right? So this is just a testimony of what is possible. Okay? So now, first on an individual level, you have to take a proactive approach to changing the defects, for lack of a better word. Allah created us with a great potential. And He says, you are the only person in the way of you reaching it. So we have to start identifying for ourselves, individually, what it is that's troubling us internally, what it is that is preventing us from progressing, whether that be marriage, father-son relationship, mother-daughter relationship, right? Husband and wife relationship, right? It's on us. Now, then as a community, we have to look at where we want to go and take a proactive approach. So what are some of our most expedient needs right now? Somebody throw some answers out. What are our most expedient needs as a community? What are some of the things that are like, all right, this is on the deathbed right now, and we need to, there needs to be a surgeon. Yes. Subhanallah. Better food and access to natural health care. That's one thing. What's another thing? What's his name? Economic-based support. Excellent. Sister Nafisa.